Yay!
Awesome.
I'm
I
excited.
am just gonna wait for the YouTube thing to refresh because it should be. Oh, is it not working? Want to make sure.
Insert random humming sounds.
Am I on the wrong thing? Okay, we are live. All right,
Yay!
friends. We have some friends here. Got 7 people joining. All
Okay.
right. If anyone,
Is that okay? Like I can't see that. I can just see
that's okay.
the chat. Okay, cool.
Let's see if anyone replies. Um,
Hi, friends. I can see you.
yeah. All right, people are here. Hi, Beth. Awesome. Let's get started.
Oh,
I think people will
yeah.
trickle in, right?
Yeah.
Trickle in. That's a very webinar thing to say. This is
Trickle
not a
in.
webinar. This is a show. This
This
is
is a
this
chit
is the
chat.
Tonight Show for B2B. That's what this
Hello,
is.
Richard.
All right. Hey, Richard. All right. So, Chi, I have a question for you. Are you hungover right now?
Emotionally, yeah. Physically, no. But I will be tomorrow.
Perfect. That's our topic for today.
Yes.
Welcome, friends. This is the menu with Amanda Natividad. I'm here with my very good friend, the beautiful, the lovely Chi Thukral. She is one of
Thank
my good
you.
friends. She is a social media extraordinaire, content creator, and hilarious person who has good skincare recommendations.
That I take from Amanda Natividad.
We
So
can learn a
it's
lot from each other.
just a full circle. All we do is teach each other things and then brag about each other to each other.
That's all we do.
Oh,
Let's peek in the chat. Misha's here. Hey, Misha.
hello,
So, friends,
Michelle.
this is a pretty casual discussion. We do have a little bit of an agenda for today. We're going to talk about being creative. We're going to talk about this thing called artist dates. And then, of
Yes.
course, we are going to eat warheads. I hope everyone brought their own candy because it's going to be fun. We're going to do warheads while we dish out our sour face takes.
It's a BYOC.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of
So,
coffee are you drinking?
so every morning I do my AeroPress coffee with Blue Bottle beans. I like Giant Steps from Blue Bottle.
Mm, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
try
have a
that.
little burr grinder, so I have it on a setting, grind the beans,
I
heat up
love
my
it.
water. It's black coffee every day.
So one time, fun story, quick fun story. When I used to live in New York, I would go to Blue Bottle very often because it was very close to me. Misha, yes, I love Blue Bottle too. And I would go to Blue Bottle so often. And you know how they have that app, right? And sometimes you get like free coffee or free rewards and things like that. So I
Mhm.
had a free reward on my app, but I went to a Blue Bottle in the Hudson Tower. Now, if you've been to the Hudson Tower, you know that the network there is very bad. So my reward wasn't opening up. And I was like, I have a free coffee. I don't know how to convince these people to give it to me without sounding like a maniac or an addict. So I just went there. I'm like to the cafeteria and to the barista, I'm like, my app isn't working. I swear I have a reward. But for some reason, they thought that I was a barista in Blue Bottle because of how often I visited it. And they were like, "Oh, you work here. We know you." And they got me two coffees and a sandwich and a pastry. And I am just like, you know what? I'm not gonna say no. And I'm like, thanks, guys. You get my pain. And then I just walk away with my goodies. And I'm like, I spent enough money there to like get this little treat. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I'm so happy that they thought I was one of them. So yeah, I love Blue Bottle. Blue anyone in Blue Bottle, if you're watching this ever, you know.
Yeah, Blue Bottle. This episode is sponsored by Blue Bottle.
Oh,
It's not, but that's how you get
just
sponsorships, right? You just start naming
yeah,
brands and you ask them to give you money
yeah,
without
just
any leverage.
blurring my cup out. I'm gonna drink my coffee this way, so it's like it's not
That's so
visible.
funny. Speaking of like being one of us, we should note that we have these really cool t-shirts. This is a design by Chi. It's one of my favorite t-shirts. I love the fit. I love the style of it. I look good in green, I think.
You look good in everything, dude. Come on.
You look good and everything. But we'll talk about this a little bit later.
Hmm.
Let's get into it with creative stuff.
Yes.
So we were talking the other day about, I mean, so maybe for some context for people, you are a content creator and social media marketer. Um, and as we all know, when you are a social media manager, like it means you are a one person studio, right? Like you're
Yeah.
making a lot of shit happen. You're being really
Yeah.
creative and scrappy. Um, so so we were talking about this. I asked you the other day about like how do you kind of fuel your creative tank? So
Yeah.
let's talk about that for a little bit. How do you fuel your creative tank?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be like super honest here, so I can give like examples and things because I don't want to be like, oh, here are the 5 steps. I'm just gonna tell you tiny stories and hopefully people can relate. So I recently went through a big life change and I had a depressive episode. And as with any mental health things like anxiety or anything like that or any big changes, you're bound to like either be super charged with creativity if it's like a new thing that you knew is coming, you're excited, you're going to be like, oh my god, there's so much creativity in me, I want to do so many things. Or there's the other tail end where you're anxious and you're preparing for this change and you're processing that, which can lead to your tank like running low. That's where I was recently, where I was like, I don't know how I'm feeling, like I don't have any like marketing related insights to add. At work, I was like, I'm not like doing very well with the captions or unable to find jokes. And the good part about being self-aware is that like you know that you're running into a roadblock, and the bad part is like, okay, I'm running into a roadblock and that might just like make me more anxious. So what I usually do is stop working. Like I completely stop whatever I'm doing when I have that moment like, okay, I know my creative tank is running low. I'm not putting out quality work right now. I need to stop. I know there's like deadlines and things. So all of those things, like I'm very transparent with my CEO or your manager, whoever you're talking to, if you're a content creator, with your friend, like whoever you think is sort of like your accountability buddy. Like that's what I would first turn to. So sometimes I also turn to you, Amanda. I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm doing a good job at Twitter. And I talk through like whatever I'm going through with you. And then at work, it's the same thing with my CEO. And the good part about being at this company where I'm right now is that my CEO is very understanding about how creativity functions. Like it's
Mhm.
not a faucet. You can't just like turn it on and turn it off and like turn the pressure up like or make it into a trickle, like that's not how it works. So if a creative person comes to you and tells you like, hey, I'm not feeling creative, you need to give them that space and time to be bored and to go through that phase of not feeling creative. There's no magical solution that goes like, oh, I'm going to go for a mental health walk and come back and with ideas. It can help, but it's not a solution. My what has always worked for me is like actually sitting down and getting bored and doing something that is not related to work at all, or like where I'm not having to force my creativity. So I will like literally watch like dumb TV shows or like go out for a brunch or read a book that is not about like marketing or about making content or anything like that. You have to basically detach yourself from that space or that mindset of what is pulling your creative energy and just be. It's like to charge your phone, if you keep using it while you're charging it, it's not really going to charge up faster, right? You gotta let it be for a little bit and let it charge and let it turn on. And I promise you, that works so much better than like forcing yourself to find inspiration. It's never going to come if you go looking for it, at least in
Mhm.
my case. That's what I've learned. Yes, I do take mental health walks and I do like read books that like can hopefully give me perspective into different ideas. But when I hit a roadblock, I literally stop doing whatever I'm doing and be bored. And I feel like I've read this so many places, like for creative individuals to continue being creative, they have to be bored. And that's really, it's a
Yeah.
cycle. So
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Yeah, the boredness is really important. It gives your brain some time to process what it was
Yeah.
previously doing, helps your mind wander, which is also helpful in ideation, overcoming
Yeah.
roadblocks, and also just gives you some space to relax, obviously, right? Like,
Yeah.
I like, small example, I've been having terrible quality sleep the past week plus, probably. Bad quality sleep, not feeling invigorated when I wake up in the morning, but just needing to get through the day. And then last night, my husband and I watched. Well, we have a friend group where we watch certain TV shows together. Like, I
That's so
think
cute.
pre-pandemic we watched The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Most of us hadn't seen it yet, so I mean it's an old show, but like for some of us it was
Yeah.
new. And then we would meet up like every week to talk about it. So we just started The Wire, also an old show, but my husband and I started watching it last night,
Hmm.
and part of me was like, I have too much to do right now. Like I have more work to do. I like, yeah, let's fine, let's watch it, but then I'll get back to my work.
Yeah.
But it was, it's a good show, so for one. But I had the best quality sleep last night that I've had in weeks or months. Like, incredible. I got like 8.5 hours of sleep. I feel so much
It
better
is
today. I think part of it was
crazy.
just like, I'm not saying like, oh, TV helped me sleep, right? But it's more like the act of winding down, switching
Yes.
gears, doing something else that
Oh, yeah,
was more
for
passive,
sure.
like, just enjoying that and then going to sleep a couple hours later
Yeah.
really helped.
Detaching is like the best way to fuel your creative tank. Like
Yeah.
literally do anything else that is not related to work. And I swear to God, like that's where we get, even when you're not in a creative roadblock, like your best ideas always come from like when you do things outside of work. Like
Mhm.
I'm always like it's in the shower or like you're talking to a friend or you're watching something and you're like, oh my God, yeah, like I could like use this thing for work or like this is a funny joke or like this is how I can tie it in. And I feel like
Mhm.
if you're in a creative roadblock, like it's hard, but stop trying to force it and look for it in places. Like just do things you enjoy doing without
Mhm.
constantly thinking like, oh my God, I'm in a creative roadblock. Like it's not gonna
Yeah.
help you.
Right. Let's talk about artist dates really quick, and then we'll move on to our
Yes.
segment. So you told me about artist dates. It's a thing that you do with yourself. Tell
Yes.
our audience what an artist date is and what you do on them.
All right. So, okay, it's a very simple concept, and it's something I learned in grad school. So, in our grad school, I went to Emerson College in Boston, and I took global marketing, whatever, masters. And one of our classes is called creative thinking and problem solving. And initially, we were all like, "What is this class? Like, why do we have to take it?" But it was like that class was literally the definition of what we just spoke, where it was detaching ourselves from all of our grad school work and just like having fun and being creative. And there would be a lot of little activities that our professor would do that to keep your like mind active and not always thinking about work. So one of the books that I can't leave it in the chat, but Amanda, if you could, it's
Mhm.
called The Artist Date by Julia Cameron. So it was a part of like a required reading thing. um, no one really read it, obviously, till it was like the assignment was due. And we were like, so what is the assignment? And our professor was like, the assignment is to go on an artist date and write about it. And we were all just like, what? So basically, an artist date is like where you take yourself out, like just
Mhm.
you, and you go on a date to woo your inner artist. So you separate your artist from like yourself, and you're basically trying to woo this inner artist. And it's something that you have to do by yourself. Like this is not like a group
Yeah.
of friends or
What's an
situation.
example of wooing your inner artist?
So what I used to do in Boston was that we had this cafe called Thinking Cup, and it was the only cafe that had like a no Wi-Fi, nothing. So I would like specifically go there, and it was also right outside the park. So I would people watch for like 30 minutes. I would talk to the barista. I would try journaling a little bit, and because there's no Wi-Fi, you are forced to just be with yourself. And it was also like a very tiny place. People watching was my favorite thing to do. I would chit chat with the baristas, and then it evolved into me taking polaroids on like in the cafe and then of the park outside. So it never has to be like fabulous or like, oh my God, I'm gonna go for like a high tea with myself situation. It could just be you taking a book that is like creative or inspiring to yourself and reading it in a new place and like sitting with yourself. So for me at least, silence was like a big part of it, and being disconnected from like devices was a big part of it. So I used to like reorganize my Polaroids or go down the memory lane or read a book that I'd not like is not required grad school reading, or journal, or literally just looking outside. The whole idea is that you recognize your artist as a part of your identity, but on this artist date, you actually treat it as your date. So as an artist, obviously, I will have different interests than just like me as a person. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, me as an artist, I love photography. So I would like go out and take Polaroids and think about things, or like people watch and ask people if they wanted to be in my Polaroids, which would lead to so many interesting conversations. So that is something that I would do pretty often.
Mhm.
And that is something that I encourage like everyone who is creative or wants to experience like channel more of their creativity. Artist dates is great. It is literally specific time that you allot to your creative self, and it
Mhm.
forces you to think about, okay, as an artist, what are my needs, what do I want to do, how can I, like, if I like photography or writing, how can I give myself like this 1 hour to really make myself feel like an artist. And it makes you feel special, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm
That's
making
amazing.
art and I love it.
Totally. Love it. So everyone try artist dates, woo yourself, woo your inner
Yeah.
artist. Let's move on to our segment. So with this show, the menu, it does not have the bits that we do or the segments that we have, they don't have to be food related, but that's where it's trending. But maybe it's appropriate because it is the menu where you get a list of options of all these cool, fun things. Um, so we got our warheads. Hope you
We
have it.
do. Yeah.
All right. So this segment is called Sour Face Takes. Sour Face Takes with Chi Thukral. Um, so what is this? We decided we were gonna eat warheads while dishing out the takes or the opinions that we once held that we have since soured on.
Yeah.
Right? So things we were wrong about, things we don't believe in anymore that we used to believe very strongly, maybe.
Yes.
That is what this is.
Okay. Is
So
this a good time to tell you? Like, I don't even remember the last time I had warheads,
me too.
and I probably have the lowest tolerance for candy. All right,
Oh,
I do
same.
have like, I have 4 flavors. Okay, cool. I have like
Yeah.
one of each ready to go.
Okay. I am gonna have green apple is my favorite growing up, so I'm gonna
Oh, awesome. Okay,
let's
I
start
think I'll
that.
go with blueberry first.
All right. All right. So I think we're gonna eat at the same time, right? And then
Yeah.
is
Okay,
that
do
how
we have
this
to do the
works?
take first and then the sourness, or
No,
sour
you
and then
gotta
the
do the
take?
candy and then your take.
All right. Um, okay, I'm gonna struggle a
Yeah.
little bit. Focus on the TV. Okay, there it is. I'm scared.
All right. Well, yeah, you do it and then I'll do mine before I give my take. How about that?
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
What is your sour faced take? Your first sour faced take?
Oh gosh. Ugh. Um. Wow. Is it this? Is it all of this sour?
I'm salivating just thinking about this.
Okay, my first sour take that you have to be present on all platforms, post on all platforms. I don't believe in that anymore at
Mhm.
all. So that would be my first take.
Yeah. Why did you
Ugh.
used to think that?
Um, I think it's like something you hear. There's also FOMO of like missing out. You're like, oh my God, Twitter's doing great. Maybe I should be there. Maybe I should be on YouTube because that's getting like a lot of money for creators. Oh, but I also have to be on Instagram because that's where everyone is. And then I'm like, no, I don't have to do that. It's unsustainable. It makes no sense. You can be a master of every platform. You can only be a master at one. Being present is okay, but being active on all is impossible unless you have a team.
Mhm.
So I think that is something that I've like come to terms with, and it's reduced a lot of pressure as
Mhm.
a creator. So
Is
yeah.
that what has enabled you to grow Yanko Design's Instagram to like from something like a couple 100,000 to well over 1 million followers. Is it because
Yeah.
you've been able to focus on that platform?
Mhm.
Cool.
Initially, when I joined, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do their Facebook, their Pinterest, and their Instagram because that was where they were like super active. But I automated everything else because I'm a one-person team, and I only did Instagram. And we
Mhm,
went from 500,000 to 1.1 million in a year.
mhm,
So that was pretty cool. And it's because all my efforts were focused on that one platform. And I was able to like actually talk to the community, um, see the trends, like interact with people like outside, like not just our community, but other brands and things like that.
mhm,
But yeah, we would literally, I've automated every single process other than their Instagram, which I handle manually, like entirely on my own.
mhm,
And that's something that I saw, then took it as a practice for my own creation channels as well. Because I would be like, I can be on Instagram, I can be on Twitter, I can be on YouTube, with the same frequency. So I have to pick like my main channels and understand like how much time I devote to each of them. So
mhm.
now my personal ranking is obviously Twitter, YouTube, then Instagram.
Cool. All right.
Hmm.
Joe in the chat.
This
Over
was
1
so.
million followers. Okay, I'm gonna go
Oh
next.
gosh.
Green apple.
Okay. These are sour as hell.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm okay. I'm a monster.
I'm gonna try the green apple next. I feel like that was an easy one.
Oh,
Maybe
maybe
a
I gotta go with
blueberry
like
was a bad one.
sugar. Okay.
Oh, that was bad.
My sour fish take is I used to think that people liked kids in ads.
Hmm.
Like, so this is when I worked at Nature Box, a snack company. One audience segment we tried to appeal to was moms. Moms are preparing snacks for their families. We were like, "Oh, people love kids, and kids are so cute. We'll put them in the ads."
Yeah.
And so we started doing this. We started running ads with kids, like enjoying the snacks. They were by far our poorest performing ad creatives. We're like, people don't like kids. I guess they just don't like kids. So I think the real takeaway now is not that people don't like kids, even though some people don't.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't really like kids that much, even though I have one. Um,
There's one living in your
yeah,
house.
I like him. He's cool. But like in general, I'm not the kind of person who sees kids. I'm like, oh, let's go say
Mm.
hi. I don't care. Um, so I
Okay.
think the takeaway
Wait.
now,
Follow
uh-huh.
up on that take. Super sour take. I don't think all kids are cute. There's no way in hell
They're
I'm
not,
ever
you
gonna,
know.
never gonna be like, all kids are cute. No. All dogs are cute. All kids are not.
Yeah, so I think the takeaway is that it's not that kids always perform poorly in ads. I think it's just that if you're gonna use a kid in an ad, it needs to be
Hmm.
inherent to the product. Like, is it a
Yeah.
kid's toy? Yeah, you need a kid. Is it a special blanket or like swaddle blanket for a baby?
Hmm.
Of course you need a kid. But when it's just an everyday product that can
Yeah.
apply to kids, it doesn't perform well because I think
Hmm.
it's confusing messaging. Um, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna prepare the next candy. Are
All
you
right.
ready with your
I'm ready.
Beth
I'm gonna.
says, Q Seinfeld, you gotta see the baby.
No, I
That
never
baby
got
is
to see the
breathtaking.
baby. The baby is like a bald potato.
I might just spit out my candy and do the next one.
That's what I was thinking, but
Mhm.
I'm almost done, so I'm sorry for anyone who has headphones on. I'm gonna crunch through this candy.
Or maybe they like that. It's a little bit of ASMR here.
ASMR? Oh
Hmm.
my gosh.
Uh, it could
I
be.
actually do listen to ASMR, but not the food kind.
What is it? It sounded
Oh,
suggestive. Not the food kind.
not the food kind. I find like those very weird. I do listen to like the ones where they literally, and this is so weird for me to even say, but it's like the ones where like they pretend you're in a spa. So like there'll be like nice like sounds of like
Oh, okay.
the birds and like the steam running and like some meditation music. And once in a while, a creator will come in and be like, "Is everything okay?" And like super like whisper tones. And I am like
Yeah.
seriously working on a deadline, but like in my headphones, I'm in the spa.
So wait, is the ASMR you're listening to is there a spa person that says, "Are you okay?"
Wow, I did not know that. Sorry about that. Yeah, so there are these creators that literally cosplay entire situations and like settings that could be relaxing to you, like a
Oh, okay.
haircut, a spa, like
I've seen
uh,
okay. But they even
checking
like
in.
do the whole like, "Oh, just checking in to
Yes,
make sure the sound is fine."
yes,
Oh,
like
that's kind of
checking in to
funny.
make sure like you're okay. Is your
Hmm,
hot towel still hot? Like things like that. Like I sometimes like prefer not to listen to music, so I like put on like whatever relaxing ASMR I can find. And I particularly like one artist. She's called GB. If anyone wants to try, I also like get the tingles. Like I have the sensation, which is why it is so fun for me to like listen sometimes to these things. And I'm like, wow, it's so relaxing. But at the same
okay.
time, I'm like finishing up deadlines.
Okay.
It's very, very weird.
All right.
But if anyone wants to
Okay.
try, it's like not like a stupid, weird, like outcasting. Like y'all should try ASMR. You'll be surprised if you get the tingles.
Cool. All right. Go ahead. Sour face take.
Sour face take. Okay, this is a very like controversial one. Like I used to think NFTs are like dumb. Like why are is anybody paying any amount of money for an image? That is what I thought up until 2 weeks ago. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna eat this and then explain why. Wow, okay, this matches my shirt. Why the take changed.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my gosh, how are you eating these? Oh, it tastes like I threw up in my own mouth. It's so awful. Um, so elaborating on that take, if my brain can compute the sourness. Ah! Um, I signed up for like the only way for me to learn about NFTs was to get into it. And I haven't like bought any NFTs because they're so expensive. But I have only I had to buy my domain name. That involved like understanding what gas fees was, buying ETH, like getting a wallet. So I got the basics done. And I'm like, okay, this is not as bad or as intimidating as people make it be. Um, and a follow-up sour take was that everyone thinks like this is the next marketing thing. It's not. There's a whole audience out there that's never gonna get it, that doesn't want to get it, and is not interested. It's like collecting art or collecting like those baseball cards. There is
Mhm,
a market for it, but
mhm,
it's not the general population. So I got into it thinking like I have FOMO as a marketer. I need to know like every social media channel is doing NFTs, everyone's doing NFTs, all the brands are. And then I'm like, but hold on. It's just a trend right now. It will stay. It's amazing. I love that we found another way for creators to make money, but this is not something that should put marketers or social media managers under pressure or FOMO to catch up and learn and spend money. So that is something that I was like a two-part take, which is well, NFTs are not bad. I do understand why people are paying money for them. I do understand a little bit of Web3, and that's only because I did it. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And the other part was like, but everybody doesn't have to do this.
mhm,
Every brand doesn't have to do this, and nobody should feel the pressure to learn it. It's literally like collecting art. If you are not an art collector, that is fine. You will still live your life and you will still be able to do marketing without having to do those side of things. But it is interesting, and I would encourage like, yes, I also make the right click jokes all the time. I literally did up until 3 weeks ago. I was like, I could save this image, y'all would never know. And then Twitter hit us with this hexagonal profile pictures, and now everyone's gonna know if you right click save. But
mhm.
yeah, I would say like one, don't let it intimidate you. Two, yes, it's okay to make jokes about it. But three, it is something that you should learn about as a marketer, as someone who is on the internet, is in the digital world. It is something that you should learn about. And I do agree that it's not accessible and it's very intimidating.
Mhm.
Um, but dive into it if you want to. And if you don't want to, that is fine too. Like you
Yeah,
don't
I
have to
think
have that FOMO.
that just speaks to any FOMO based strategy is not a
Hmm.
good idea, right? If you're making or like if you're making decisions based on FOMO, based on oh no, I might miss out on this thing,
Hmm.
then that's already a flawed thesis. Like I think you need to have conviction that comes from a place of why you believe in something, not why you believe in not wanting to miss out on something. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Cool. I'm gonna do my take. I think I kept forgetting what my second take was. I'm doing the blueberry one.
Oh my God, I want to see if this is bad for you. Right? Right? That is awful. Bad.
It's really sour. It's
It's,
really sour.
it literally tastes like you threw up in your mouth.
It's really yeah. Cause okay, I might cry.
I
Okay,
told you, I teared up with the blueberry. I
yeah.
was like, this is bad.
Okay, it's fine. Whew, okay. I think the what was the take that I had? So I used to think that whenever you post it on social or just any kind of like public facing thing, right?
Hmm.
You need to have like perfect grammar and spelling. I still think it matters.
Yeah.
It matters, but it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. And like, sure, you're always gonna have someone that points out, like, oh, you missed the word the. Like, of course, you make mistakes, but
Yeah.
I think grand scheme of things, no one cares. I mean, if you're constantly doing typos, that is a problem. But like, if they're sporadic, it's fine. People will forgive you. A lot of people won't even
Exactly.
notice. And sometimes, depending on the content,
Hmm.
it's better with a typo, right? Like sometimes tweets are funnier when they're all in lowercase with no
Yeah.
punctuation. Right. So a little
Yeah.
bit is rhetorical, right? Sometimes when you don't have the proper casing or like you're using the quotes properly, like it's just funnier because it looks more natural.
Yeah.
It looks like the way someone would talk. So
Hmm.
that is funny. So yeah, there is something to be said there. Okay.
I do like that take.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
that the blueberry one is sweeter, it tastes better.
That's what I'm like getting to. I'm like, okay, I
Okay.
need to prepare my palate with the sweet
Mm-hmm.
stuff before I put in another one.
Do you
Yes,
have do you have a
Richard,
third take?
bulldogs are cute. I do,
Okay.
but it is not it's not a marketing take or a content creation take just
All right.
generally.
Go for it.
But it's just like my take. And I think pistachio latte is the bomb. Okay, I'm a Dunkin' fan and I hate anything sweet. Like, I don't eat candy. I don't have a sweet tooth at all. You'll never catch me saying things like, oh, I want cake, or like, I want ice cream. So that's a controversial opinion in itself. And I love this shit. Like, this has changed who
It's
I
not
am
too
as a
sweet?
being. It's not. I'm telling you. It's like if you like nutty flavors, I love nutty
Mhm.
flavors like almond or hazelnut, things like that. It's
Mhm.
literally like nutty flavors at the bottom, then whatever milk you choose, and then like butter-ish swirl on the top. So it's actually not at all sweet. If it was sweet, I would not be able to drink it. Like this candy for me is super sweet. I don't eat candy or anything sweet really.
All right. Respect.
So
I love it. I love
Amanda's
I
just
love
like, I hate this. I hate this
well,
pistachio latte train.
I've never had it, so I don't have an actual
Okay,
opinion. I just
I
don't it doesn't
wish
appeal to me is all. That's okay.
I it didn't. I was literally walking to a Starbucks that week, and I was like, I'm so tired of my regular order. Maybe I should like go crazy for a second. And I really did go crazy for a second. I would have never ordered this ever. I don't even go to Starbucks. I go to Dunkin'. And I was like, interesting. Pistachio latte. I was like, you know what? Split second decision. Let's do it. Let's see how it is. And then I came back and I had and I made that video and I was like, oh,
All
those are
right.
my honest reactions. If anyone's seen that video, that was very literally me reacting as I was recording and having it for the first time. And again, that piece of content did really, really well. So the takeaway is like be authentic.
I love it. All right. Well, we should wrap up here. We're coming up on time. Where can the people find you? Where do you want the people to find you? How about that?
Hold
You got to
on.
say it with a puckered face.
Oh, I have watermelon.
Ooh, I love watermelon. I'll do it next.
Mm. Oh my gosh, I feel like my mouth is doing a workout. I'm like trying to keep my face straight, but I
That's what
can't.
she said.
Damn it! Where can people find me? Well, I would like if you find me on Twitter because that's where I'm most active now. You can also find me on Instagram and on YouTube. Um, Instagram, I am active, but I do mostly stories and I don't do as many posts anymore. You can also find me on TikTok. That content is absolute trash. It's just me. It's just me doing things like this, like dancing a little bit to have
Okay.
fun.
There's a
And
market for
that's
that.
yeah, and I genuinely just want to have some platforms where I'm chilling. TikTok is where I chill. Um, Twitter is where I'm most active, so you can find me there. YouTube is what I'm trying to get into a consistent routine with. I'm currently in the middle of transitioning out of my current job into a new one. So I think like once I have a new routine, I will understand how much time I have for YouTube. So yeah, you can find me by my name. It's Thukral. It is everywhere. It's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and if you can't, everything is in my bio. If you find me in any of the one place, there's always going to be a link in the bio. I'll
Cool.
have links to everything
And
else.
then
But yeah,
finally, buy the merch.
yeah, support your local content creators.
All right. Thank you, friends, for joining us. This has been The Menu with Amanda Natividad. You can find us every Friday at 11 a.m. Next week, I'm going to have my good friend Kei He. He has an awesome Notion community, and he teaches a great course called Supercharge Your Productivity. And I think the next cohort starts on Monday. So if you're watching
Ooh,
this live, I think there might be time to sign up still. So consider that. Kei He next Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you for joining us.
bye. Thanks for having
Bye.
me.